Straight into it, people. This is a match reaction, not a match report. I'm not going to go through incident by incident. Gordon with a wonderful cross into the box. Isak with a header in the 18th minute. And after that, Arsenal did nothing to change the game. Not the manager, not the players. There was nothing that felt like any injection into this Arsenal team to understand the urgency, to understand the pressure, to understand the importance of getting a win here at Newcastle. And it was one of those games that leaves you with your fists doing this. You know, when you're just clenching, like not like you're ready to scrap. Can you imagine me? but like you're clenching. You're just like frustrated because of the amount of lazy passes, the amount of stupid decisions, the amount of the static nature to the way we played. Everything was so tepid, and everything was just so like, oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, I'll play the ball that way. We'll play it that way. Oh, the cross went wrong. Oh, I got the pass wrong. That's how it felt. Now, I know the players on the pitch aren't thinking that. The players are obviously trying to follow instruction and going about the way they think is the most likely to get them out of that hole. But at some point, you need to mix things up. And at some point, you players got to take responsibility, get on the ball and just go, right, what can I do outside the system, outside the coaching to try and wrestle a way back into this? What can I do that's just football, street football, just to try and inspire my team? And I felt like Bukayo Saka was the only one who actually started, who I could say really felt like he was trying to conjure something out of nothing. And even he didn't have his best game. But, a couple balls into the box, fantastic one low across the box that no one was there for, lovely whip to the back post that Rice should have headed, into the back of the net to give us an equaliser. And, he was the only one that could really pull anything out of it. But why have I started with the players? Because I want to start with them and then leave it. That's it. That's all I'm going to say on the players. They didn't leave it out there for me, and I'm gutted with that. But Mikel Arteta, and I big this guy up so much. I really do, because I think this guy, and these are the words, are Turkish now, and I agree with him. I think he's on course to win the big honours in his career. I think he will get there. But he has these blind spots. He has these moments. And you know what? Normally I'd sit here quite humbly and go, but what do I know? I'm just a fan. But then he does things that make you realise, oh, wait, no, we were right. I'll give you an example. Playing Marino in Ødegaard's position against Bournemouth. We all thought that was crazy. But you let it happen because we've been on a good run, whatever. And you watch it and then you see he hasn't done it since. So it's an admission that all of those who were critical and were right to have a problem with that decision were correct, because he's not done it since. And then he goes into this part of the game this particular game where Havertz has been playing in the absence of Ødegaard. And I know I've ranted so much on this channel, but one last time, just for old time's sake. In the absence of Ødegaard, we press our possession of 4-4-2. Now, our front two is Ødegaard on the right of the front two and Havertz on the left. With Ødegaard missing, we've moved Havertz to the right of the front two to get Trossard in there. Why? I don't think it's an out-possession thing. I think it's because in possession, he wants us 4-4-2, Havertz dropping into link-up play and Trossard dropping in to link-up play on the left of the side. So Havertz has been dropping in on the right, lots of touches on the touchline, but it's a complete and utter waste of our best striker. Is he good enough to win the league? You can debate that amongst yourselves in the comment section. But it's a complete waste of our best number 9. The guy who scored away at Tottenham, the guy who put it on a plate for Trossard away at Old Trafford, the guy who in 2024 has been scoring 6-7 goals in a row at the Emirates, equaling Robin van Persie's record. The guy who's been putting up 20 GA seasons when he's actually not even been playing the whole time up front. And I'm not Havertz's biggest fan, far from it. But we know the midfield thing hasn't worked, so why do you keep dragging him? Why in the absence of a really important player like Martin Ødegaard are you compromising another position for it? Trossard has been completely out of it since the international break. He's been appalling since that error at Bournemouth. And now here we are, going into that second half. Remember what I said about admission of mistakes? But for some reason, as fans, we're kind of seen as arrogant wherever we say it. Or, well, what do you know that Arteta does it? Second half, look at where Trossard was picking up the ball. He was picking up the ball in that right channel so that Havertz could be up front. What did we do the minute Zinchenko came on? Was it Zin who played the ball? I think it was. A ball over the top. Now, nothing happened, but at least you ask questions of their centre-backs. At least Pope had to come out, claim a ball and get clattered. At least Havertz was in the wars somewhat, not out on the touchline, trying to combine with Saka and Partey. It's so frustrating. And then it goes back, and if I had the time, I'd clip up what I said in the starting 11 and play it here. And I didn't really want to say it because you feel so negative. Like, James, the ball hasn't even been kicked, you know. Partey played well at right back. Why are you complaining? But I said in the starting 11 show here on AFTV that just because Partey at right back worked and Timber at left back worked against Liverpool, where we had a very, very particular high press game plan, a very particular physical profile match we need to achieve, just because it worked then doesn't mean it's going to work leaving out Ben White, Kivior and Zinchenko and Lewis Skelly, 4 more natural players that could play at right back or left back. Then you could get Timber back into his position and Partey could play in the 6 where he's been our best midfielder. And I asked the question very tentatively because I thought, I don't want to be negative. Partey played well at right back, but I'll ask the question. Let's see. Ultimately, and I'm just going to say it, I was proven right. Just because it worked against Liverpool didn't mean it was going to work against Newcastle. Different game, required different things, but Arteta has these blind spots where something works, he's going to do it again. He did it with Holding in the run-in a couple of years ago, and he did it at times last season where I want to think of good examples of it. Surely there's ones next season. Maybe there's a video in this. Let me know in the comment section below where he's tried something that, you know what, it didn't really work. We kind of got away with it for a few games. And then ultimately, when it really goes to shit, he goes, oh, okay, I'm going to have to change that actually. And it's too late by that point. Listen, let me make my thoughts very, very clear, people. I do not think we're a bad football team. Far from it. And bad for the level that we expect and think we should be. I think this Arsenal side can win trophies this season, and I think we'll put up some big performances and some big results, and we'll have big moments this season. I do think that. I do think that there is still a lot that I still believe in with this side. But the title race, for me, is over. Now, in November, technically, mathematically, no, it's not. But for me, we are not going to catch Man City and Liverpool. At the time of recording, they're 4 and 5 ahead of us with games in hand each. City playing away at Bournemouth, Liverpool playing home to Brighton. I don't think we're going to catch that. I just don't. Even if Brighton and Bournemouth do us favours, I don't think we're going to catch that. But do I think we can still have a good season? Yes. Why? Because I kind of have no choice. That's what being a fan's about for me. I have to believe that we can. I have to go into every game thinking there's something to be excited about, that there's something to try and do, that there's something to chase, that there's, a reason to keep playing football. And my word, these players need to keep believing there is. They need to. And Mikel Arteta needs to fix up and needs to admit that the tweaks he's made haven't worked. I did a video with Turkish on AFTV, Behind the Numbers. It was titled Arsenal Are Not Boring, because I fundamentally believe that. I didn't think we played bad football at home against Southampton. I didn't think we played bad football at home against Leicester, at home against, who else was it? PSG. I was encouraged by what we did in the first half against Man City. We won away at Tottenham, we won away at Villa. There was so much that I liked about Arsenal. There was a tweak in style, we were going direct a little bit more, but there was plenty I liked there. Since the international break, we've been an utter disaster, and we've been playing with Havertz even wider than normal, but we saw that in the Southampton game, it wasn't working. I called it out then. But people just want to say, some of you acknowledge it and don't say anything, some of you agree with me. But there are people that go, they get mad at Arsenal fans because they think, well, Mikel Arteta and Arsenal must have all the answers. But this is not acceptable to have lost 2 games in our first 10 already. So what, are we going to be on course to lose 8 for the season? Times that by 4, the remaining just under 30 games, 28 games, is 8 going to be acceptable? We've lost 2 already. City don't lose games, even on bad days. This has been a rant, everyone. This has been a rant from me. But I hope you can understand that I'm focusing it towards where I actually think the issues have been. Seeing something work against Liverpool, like Partey at right back, Timber at left back, and opting for it again, and not recognising it's a different opposition. Seeing that Havertz is not getting involved in the strikers' battles we want against Konate, against Van Dijk, against Scher, against Burn, and then realising in the second half against Newcastle, 135 minutes of football later going, oh, actually we'll stick him up there. Such should have been a great point in the Goonerverse. When was the one time we looked like we were going to score against Liverpool, or perhaps should have? It was when Havertz went up front, he had a duel against Konate. I'm just... It's very rare. With this particular Arsenal side, it's not been often they've legitimately been ashamed of the performance. I was ashamed of that performance and the efforts from the team, and I found myself so wound up by the manager. And well done to Ethan Winner, who came on and had a go. But if he's not ready, which, listen, he didn't light up the pitch when he came on, but he did some nice things. He certainly looks good enough from a technical level to contribute in some way. But if he's not, then why did we leave ourselves so short in the window? Well, because Smith Rowe and Vieira aren't his players. He's not happy in it. Well, Smith Rowe's killing it right now. The opportunities weren't there last season. By the way, I was happy to let him go because the opportunities weren't there. Vieira, who I actually wanted to keep, his £35 million signing, but no. We'd rather put ourselves in this position and let him go out on loan. And I was critical of the window, but I also thought that there was some good bits of business done in there. It's ageing poorly, and I will hold my hands up and say I'm wrong about that one. I still think it's too early to define right now whether the window is an absolute disaster. But with every passing day, the debate I had with Turkish, he's looking right more and more every day. And those who said the transfer window was... I never thought the transfer window we did enough. Don't think for 1 second I thought it was a good window. Although we've done... I gave it a 6 out of 10. So, which I don't agree with that now. But yeah, it's looking like in the summer we didn't really leave it all out there and do what we could. And this team, we go to Chelsea next. I don't see us winning that game. So we're going to fall further behind. We lost this game. You know, I'd be given the exact same reaction if we drew. It's an absolute shocker from Arsenal. Absolute shocker. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about it. But just lack of fight, urgency. It's not what we've got used to with this team. Fight was everything about this side. And they are totally and utterly lacking it. I think Mikel's big question to answer, why, in the absence of one player, have you tried to compromise others? Why have you moved our best midfielder out of midfield because it worked once? So many questions. I'm so frustrated. But as I always say, and I actually do want to end on this, like, you can all decide how much football means to you. Once I've got this rant out and I've said what I want to say on AFTV, I will go and try and enjoy my day. And I encourage you all to do the same. But we will have every right to be absolutely furious about this one. No referees, no bad calls, no excuses. We were shocking and we deserved everything that happened today. And Arsenal fans have every right to feel truly and utterly aggrieved with what they saw from the team today. Really, really poor. We're going to need to find some inspiration from somewhere for something else. All right, I'll leave it there.